irrational. And so, disciplined, they can be free. You want to ponder on all of these words. Of course, they all describe a strong woman. A strong woman certainly stands up for herself, and a strong woman stands up for everyone else around her. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I am Taiwo Baruwa. This program is brought to you courtesy Toyota Nigeria Limited, the sole distributor of the Toyota brand in this part of the world. If you're just tuning in, this is Women on Wheels. This program comes up live at 7:30 every Tuesday evening on your number one dial, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. For the sake of those that are just tuning in for the first time, you might wonder what this program is all about. Basically, Women on Wheels speaks to women at the helm of affairs in different sectors, especially those sectors where men actually thrive the most. But then, there are also women excelling in this field. And, across board, name the sphere right now, name the sector, you will certainly find a woman. My guest on the show tonight is a seasoned mechanical engineer with a career spanning over 25 years in consultancy services, training and manpower development, building services and installation of elevators, refrigerators, cooling system generally. Her diverse experiences have contributed to enhancing the productivity and development of young engineers, student and graduate, of course, professional engineers across the country. She has been a driving force behind several initiatives within the engineering sector. These include engineering innovation and creativity, project skill competition for secondary schools to showcase talent at a younger age, and innovation for challenges. I can go on and on. Her resume is quite intimidating. That's the word. That's if you get intimidated anyways. My guest is engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's good to finally have you on the show, because I'm sure, for anyone who listens or who have been listening to the show, that name certainly would resonate. Like at the end of every show, we mention this name as part of the production team. Engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun is my guest once again. It's so good to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you very much, Taiwo.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, aside all of these engineering accolades and all of that, who is Funmilade Akingbagbohun? How did it start for you?
I'll say Funmilade Akingbagbohun is a go-getter. He's a visionary leader. Anything I strive to want to do, I do it well. I'm innovative. I'm creative. I'm resilient. I don't allow anything to stop me when I want to get things done. One of my slogans is moving out of the shadows, excelling in the male-dominated field. And I tend to do that very well.
Absolutely, moving out of the shadows. Did you listen to those words? Right. These are things an extraordinary person would actually deem fit, right? You would actually consider doing all of these things, be it a man or a woman. Right. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering the voice of who you're listening to, I have engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun in the studio. She has served as the branch chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers, Lagos chapter, and the branch chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch. She has also served as the national chairman of the Nigeria Institute of Mechanical Engineers, the first female to be elected, as a matter of fact. She has served as ESCO member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Let's talk about how engineering started for you. Why did you even choose engineering in the first place?
It's quite interesting what brought me into engineering. I remember when I was in Form 2, because we were born in the time of form and not in the time of GSS and
I mean,
SS
anyone who hears Form 2 would know
so
that.
when I was in Form 2, that was when the TV is not as it is now. You watch the children's bell between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock
p.m.
and 5 p.m. So and the TV is the black and white, and it has a door that
Absolutely.
you close and lock and all that. So I got home one day. I wanted to watch the Atom Ants, the Voltron Defender of the Universe, and things like that. And the TV wasn't coming on.
Oh.
I was airing the volume, but I wasn't seeing anything on the screen. It was just dark. And I know that I have only 2 hours to actually watch TV that day. So I said, what do they do? So I got a screwdriver. I went to the back of the TV.
I need to see what is
tinkered some of those things at the back, and then the screen just came. I said, "Oh, who are the ones that do this?" They said engineers. I said, "I'm going to study engineering."
Okay.
And that was one of the things that brought me into engineering. And then the second thing that actually made it affirmative for me was when they put me in the debates. That's the science debate in school, and I was taking engineering versus medicine. Debates are leaving schools now. I don't know why, but then we used to enjoy debates. So of course, because I had to do my research.
We're in the era of emotional intelligence and all of that, and so we don't want to.
But it doesn't help the careers of children, because then
We don't want to tamper with their emotions.
We're studying what do they do. We were studying what engineers will do, and I said yes. Okay, apart from the fact of the experience, the hands-on experience I had with the TV, I had the other one doing my research, for my debate, which I actually won then when I was in Form 3. I said I was going to study engineering, and nothing was going to stop me.
How many of you were female in your class as engineers back then, actually?
When I started my career in engineering, I would say they gave me, my first admission was in mathematics in Unilag.
Okay.
And then they gave me mechanical engineering in Yaba College of Tech.
Okay.
And everyone said you ought to go to the university. I said no, I don't want to study mathematics. I want to study mechanical engineering. So I went to Yaba Tech to do my ND. I was the only female in my class.
Absolutely. Out of how many men?
I had about 49 boys in my class.
Wow.
So we struggled through the funding experiment, welding experiment. We're all struggling together. And they said, that's female. And I became popular in Yaba Tech there because I was just the only female in my class.
I can imagine, actually. I mean, it will be so easy to single you out, out of your classmate. Let's talk about the manufacturing and the industrial development in Nigeria. What's your assessment of these two sectors, being an engineer?
Being an engineer, I feel that we have a lot to do in the area of manufacturing. We have a lot to do in the area of industry practices for engineers in Nigeria. Engineers are problem solvers. They look at problems and they solve them. The enabling environment that we need to actually excel the more, the enabling environment that we need to do things better economically is not there for in Nigeria, but we are striving. One of the things that we have done at the Nigerian Society of Engineers and all the groups that I belong to is to carry it to the classrooms. There is a huge gap between the classroom and the industry. The industry practice is practicals, hands-on. While what you study in the classrooms, a lot of the tertiary institutions don't have the equipment that is required for people to see and use before they go into the industry. And so it becomes as if when you want to employ people in the industry, you have people that are green, that don't have the knowledge of the hands-on and the practical experiences that is required to excel in the industry. So obsolete machines are in the tertiary institutions, and there is a need for government to actually look at that area of ensuring that we have the right equipment for the training of engineers from schools that will propel them to be able to excel in the manufacturing industries.
You have actually headed, your society, talking about engineers in the Ikeja branch and all of that. Tell me one of the things that you do as a non-governmental organization in ensuring that these policies are being implemented by the government, ensuring that parents do not keep investing in this kind of education that is not enough, that is not enough to sustain this graduate after they leave school.
Yeah, some of the things that we have done, while I was even chairman, we built an academy, a training academy, capacity building academy for young engineers. For secondary school, we do career talks for them. We go there, we invite them for hands-on. We have the project skill competition for them to actually showcase some of the things that they have been learning in the classroom. Because engineering is not about theory, it's about hands-on, it's about practical, it's about skills acquisition.
Absolutely.
So we do a lot of trainings for them, coding trainings during the summer for them, things that will help them to be able to actually see. And it's one of the things that I appreciate about Toyota. They were able to give us hands-on and visual things that we use, and actually equipment and also tools that we use in the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. They supplied equipment worth of 20 million that we supplied to all the tertiary institutions in Nigeria for them to see what does a gearbox looks like.
Yes.
So that, in fact, when they are teaching in classroom, you are not looking at pictures, you can see what it looks like.
Absolutely.
If you are talking about a system, you'll be able to see what it looks like. Not that you are visualizing that it looks like this, it doesn't look like this. So it's one of the things that we are able to do: build an academy, build a training place, do what we call the town and gown, that is bringing the industry to the classroom. For the students to know, oh, these are the practices that is expected of them in the industry as they move out from the classroom, as they move from one level to another. It is very important that we train them on the hands-on and make them understand what they're actually going to do in the industry. Because industry is not about theory, it's also about practicals. It's not about what you can do and deliver at the technicalities of the industry.
Let's return to the place of a woman now, especially in your industry. We have seen in this part of the world that to a reasonable extent women get marginalized a lot. We have seen it in our legislative chambers. Women get tucked down, and we have actually seen it. But then, tell me, how do you relate with your male counterpart in your industry, which is male-dominated?
One of the things that you have to do in engineering to excel is that you must know your worth. That means you must know yourself inside out, your strengths and your weaknesses. You must know what are the core values that you need to have as a woman. Because engineering is about, there is no dollar in engineering. Everyone that's studied, you must be intelligent in engineering. So, of course, one of the things that we do is to relate with them according as a professional, as a true professional, because there is no sentiment in engineering.
Gender aside.
There's no gender. We is a gender inclusive, place, and so we have a place for women that don't, show their worth. Of course, they can easily be brought down. I've had an experience with a male counterpart in Nigeria that asked me and he said one day, we had a professional argument, and he said, I have somebody like you at home. I said, no, you have your wife at home.
Oh, wow.
I'm an engineer, you're an engineer. I had the 2-1, you had the 2-2. But it means that we are talking professional. It doesn't have anything to do with gender. It doesn't have anything to do with wife. Because you have your wife at home, I have my husband also at home. So it doesn't have anything to do with, because I'm a female, that means that your point is higher than mine. We are talking professionalism, and we must be able to see through, because we are the problem solvers of Nigeria. If Nigeria is going to grow, we need the engineers to be at work. We need them to go to the drawing board. And so we must act as one for us to excel in that field.
So we have to take out the gender disparity. We have to, let go of, okay, you're a woman, I have someone like you at home. You're listening to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. The program is Women on Wheels. My guest is engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun. And basically, she's been, giving us insight into how a career started for her as a woman in the male-dominated world. Let me remind you that this program is brought to you courtesy Toyota Nigeria Limited, the sole distributor of the Toyota brand in this part of the world. Let me tell you that the roads are looking a lot better than what we had earlier. Ikeja is the bridge by Lasuth is free now. You want to please keep it within the speed limit as you approach the intersection. However, the same cannot be said for Alapere. It's still steady connecting Alapere by MRS coming in from NNPC. Bagada Wuronshoki is looking very good in and out of Charlie Boy. Of course, Corona Loop is a lot better now connecting Ikorodu Road. All right, Engineer Akingbagbohun, let's talk about the most challenging time for you, in the last 25 years that you have been practicing your profession.
The most
challenging
time,
yes.
I've had quite a number of them. Sometimes when you have an idea, some people will fly with it, some people will run with it, some people will walk with it, and some people will crawl with it. You find out that if you want to excel in your field, particularly in engineering, and you bring an idea and say, this idea, you take an holistic view
yes.
of an idea and say, this idea is going to do this in 20, 30 years. And so some people are going to fly with it and quickly be able to key into the vision that you have, while some people are going to probably run with it, so they will not go at the pace of the flyers, while the ones that are walking will not go at the pace of the runners. So, but one of the challenges I had is when I had a vision, to actually start the training academy,
okay.
and I had quite a number of people not looking at the bigger picture of what it can do for engineering.
Yes.
They were looking at the fact that the schools are training them. Just a few were able to key into it until after a long time that some other people were able to come onto it. So it cost a lot of, you have to convince people to say, this is the right direction to go. You have to look for the funding for it, to do the building, which you are going to require quite an amount of money.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the things. One of the challenging periods I've had, raising the money to do the building, convincing people to key into the idea, and also convincing the engineers to actually buy into the idea. While we have the students ready for that, but you need to convince your constituency to actually go into that project with you.
Funmilade Akingbagbohun certainly is not a woman of a few words. So in less than a minute, let's talk about as a woman now. You have headed your association at different levels, so many times. Tell me what this has taught you as a woman.
As a woman, you need to have a work-life balance as a woman. Even in as much as you are heading or you are a leader somewhere, your home is where you're coming back to. So you need to be able to look at the home front, look at your leadership ambition, and be able to balance the two together. Because whatever you are doing outside, take for instance, I've been chairman Lagos chapter 2 years. It's a 2-year tenure. FNSE Kejabran 2-year tenure. National chairman 2-year tenure. But my home is always my home, because that's where I'm going to go back to. If I have any emotional distress, it's my own. And so for me, it has taught me that as a leader, you need to have a balanced home, a supportive husband. You need to be submissive. You need to take care of your home and your family, because they are your future. Irrespective of the position you are holding outside, is your home that will speak volume for who you are. The total package of a woman. I say a total woman is not a woman that is just a leader. A total woman is a woman that the husband is excelling, that the children are excelling, and as she has peace at home, is the total woman.
Absolutely. I like that submission. But what would you say to a woman who has got a lot to offer, but you see she's been nipped in the butt
by
relatives? It could be, spouse. It could be from anywhere.
One of the things that is paramount, I would say I've been lucky because I have a very supportive husband who, when I go home and say, I want to contest for this position, what's your view? He will say, okay, you have my support, go ahead. It doesn't happen in every home like that. But for me, I feel that if you're a woman and you have a vision to move, into leadership position, you need to be able to have a good discussion with your husband. You need to be able to pray about it and be patient. If your husband says, don't do it now, but let me think about it, you need to be patient and ensure that you have his buy-in before you go ahead. All right then. Do you drive? I do drive.
How long have you been driving?
It's more than 20 years.
20 years. Yes. Tell me your experience. What has it been like? Because, Lagos roads is one of those, areas we want to consider where women are being intimidated or marginalized. What do you think?
One of the comments about my driving on the roads is that, why are you driving like a man?
Formula One.
Yeah. Why are you driving like a man? You don't say, madam, I get some thumbs up on the express when I'm driving, I'm traveling and things like that. It's been a wonderful experience, but I feel that I will view it in two ways. Some men respect women on the driver's seat, while some men will feel that they want to oppress you on the driver's seat and say, who is she? And then I'll say, I'm sure the kind of woman you are intimidating your wife at home. That is why you can intimidate. Actually, a lot of the drivers, the etiquette of driving is what is the disposition of every man and every woman from their different homes and different foundations that propel them to the way they drive on the roads. But for me, the experience has been wonderful.
Let's talk about some of the challenges women actually go through in this part of the world. What are the challenges you think women go through in this part of the world? In a minute, and then you proffer solution to how best they can handle it for them to thrive or get better.
One of the challenges of women is timidity. And I've been able to help quite a number of women in that area because apart from the fact that I do a lot of public speaking, a lot of women are timid. They don't want to come out of their shells. They feel they don't like criticism, and they feel, oh, I'm not going to do well. So what I've done, I encourage them. I train them. I train women in public speaking. I train them in sometimes when they give me speaking programs, I will take 2 or 3 of them along and just leave the floor for them suddenly, so that they have a feel of what it looks like, which is an opportunity of training them. I mentor quite a number of women, young ladies. I mentor them because a lot of them want to excel, but they are afraid to actually come out of their shells. It's not about intimidation alone. It's about the way we are wired. It's about the way our culture, the tradition. A lot of people, have it in their subconscious that this is the way it is, and it makes them, feel laid back a bit.
Yes.
So it's good to encourage them. It's good to mentor them, and it's good to help encourage people to come out of their shells and excel in engineering field and other fields.
In a minute, what do you make of a women holding leadership position?
It's a wonderful one, because what women see, the opposite sex don't see it as much as we say it.
How do you mean?
What I mean is that the way God has wired women, they tend to see in diverse ways. They tend to put a lot into what they do because of the subconscious that, I must excel, I must succeed. So they tend to put quite a number of things into the drive, the resilience, the energy. They put it into what they do. But the men, they are the champion, always. And so for me, I feel that women holding leadership position is good and is also an opportunity to balance the equation properly.
Do you think women get power drunk, quote and unquote, when holding leadership position?
Power drunk is relative. It can happen to a male and it can happen to a female. It depends on who you are, how you perceive yourself, how you take your responsibilities. So it can happen to a male, it can happen to a female. It's either of the two. Both can get power drunk. So it's not limited to women.
If you get the chance to support or do something to transform women out there, what would it be finally?
If I'm going to transform women out there, I'm going to say that they should work using the SMART principle. You need to be specific with your goals. You need to measure them. You need to make them attainable. You need to be able to set your goals and achieve them. And also for women, you need to stay humble and stay focused.
All right, for women, you need to stay humble and stay focused. That's the part in the word tonight. Remember, stay humble and stay focused. They are two different things. You staying humble doesn't mean you should, I don't want to use that abusive word, but stay focused. When you're focused, it means that you have something ahead of you that you need to achieve. You have a goal ahead of you that you need to achieve. And so you have to be humble. You stoop to conquer. Thank you so much, Engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun, for coming on the program tonight. I have been speaking with Engineer Funmilade Akingbagbohun, and of course, she has said so much tonight on the show. For those of you that are just tuning in, of course, you can catch up with the program on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can also catch up with it on our Facebook page. That's at Traffic Radio 961.ng. All right, this is where we wrap it up on today's edition of Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Don't forget that this program has been brought to you by Toyota Nigeria Limited, and it has been produced by Ajose Oluwale Iduwadeyemi, and of course, I hummus of Funmilade Akingbagbohun. Maximum thanks to John Afe, Victor Terry. Our executive producer is Taiwo Baruwa. I remain Taiwo Baruwa. The program makes a return next week, Tuesday at 7:30. Join us again. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Lagos.
We are the dial that helps you